yo, 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 yo. Oh, hey kids, how are you? Sorry, I am fighting off artist block. If you don't know what that is, you know how writers, when they want to really do something creatively, but they can't think of an idea? It's called writer's block, right? Sorry, hold on, getting distracted. Well, I have artist block. I am trying to come up with something creative. I'm gonna fight off this artist block, but I will get to a good idea. Oh, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll come up with a great idea after this art intro. Enjoy. Uh-oh. Here we go. Do, hoo, 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 hoo. Whoa, that was a battle, everyone. Thanks for staying with me. I was close to being defeated, but I defeated artist block. So now I got ideas. What I would like for you guys to do is take out the choices you selected for your comic panels. Before we go over the art project, I want you to check out this video on Roy Lichtenstein. Just a little bit of a review, and then right after the video, I'll go over what we need to do next.
Whimsical paintings based on cartoons. Witty sculptures. Prints that remind us of famous paintings with a commercial twist. Images so familiar to us today, it's nearly impossible to believe they were once considered quite shocking. So shocking that in 1964, Life magazine wondered if the artist who created them, Roy Lichtenstein, was quite possibly the worst artist in the U.S. That's not a question anymore.
The 1964 Lichtenstein at $30 million, $31 million.
This is Christie's auction house in November. When the dust settled, one of Lichtenstein's pieces named, Oh, All Right, did more than all right. It sold for nearly $43 million. $43 million, a record. Lichtenstein himself would find that shocking.
He used to say he was amazed that people would actually pay for what he called used canvas. So my mother calls this her giant chia pet.
And this?
This is sculpture, brushstroke sculpture.
In fact, Roy Lichtenstein may be more popular today than ever, says his youngest son Mitchell, who walked us through the sculpture garden on the roof of his father's old New York studio.
I think people appreciate the humor, and I think they see more in it as time goes by.
Mitchell, an actor and movie director, admits that he didn't always appreciate his father's work either.
Kids talk about what their father did, and I thought, well, my father doesn't really have a job. And it was weird to say artist because that wasn't really a job.
But that also meant he was around more often than a lot of dads.
There's always something really fun to do in the studio.
Try a light blue on this. I don't think
Mitchell says his father, seen here in his Manhattan studio in 1992, worked every day, stopping for lunch promptly at 1, and never suffered for his art.
He didn't have demons that kept him from working like many artists. He just loved what he did and felt very, grateful to be able to do it.
When Lichtenstein burst onto the New York scene back in the early 1960s, tough guy abstract expressionists like Willem de Kooning and Jackson Pollock, splattering their emotions all over the canvas, were the rage. Lichtenstein replaced their heat with his cool.
Those who had a negative reaction to his art, their main argument was, this is not art.
Isabelle Dervaux is the curator of an exhibit of Lichtenstein's early drawings, which originated at the Morgan Library in New York this fall and opened last Thursday in Vienna, Austria. She says that Lichtenstein, along with artists Robert Rauschenberg and Andy Warhol, turned images from popular culture into art. Its name, pop art.
Throughout the art history, when an artist brings something so radically new, some people don't see it.
Well, taking a look at some of Lichtenstein's earliest work, you can see their point. A couch? A BB gun? Not traditional subjects for art.
There's different levels of humor. There's the humor of just making a Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse, lifting it into another realm of art.
Take this very simple drawing of a hand tracing the outline of a foot.
Inspired by a diagram from a mail order catalog for shoes. So it's a very practical kind of drawing.
And nobody thinks of that as art.
Exactly.
Lichtenstein's work became more complex over the years, says his son, as he continued to question how we see the world.
Like, for example, that is a nose. But it's just a parentheses and an apostrophe, or, but we immediately accept it as a nose. But why? I mean, why would we accept those two lines as a nose?
While his art today is worth millions, you don't have to have a lot of money to appreciate it. There are Lichtensteins at the airport in Columbus, Ohio, in Miami, and beneath Times Square in the subway of New York. All you have to do is look up.
It should be right up there. Yes.
This mural right below 42nd Street was a gift from Roy Lichtenstein to the city's Arts for Transit program.
Do you know how many times I've walked by this and have never really thought about it?
You're always just trying not to bump into people, and you're trying to get to your destination.
So like his father, says Mitchell Lichtenstein, to use clean, futuristic images to gently poke fun at the chaos of reality below.
Mitchell, do you notice that whenever you talk about your father or your father's work, you just smile? You naturally smile.
It makes you smile. I think it makes people smile.
The best way to get started on this project is to take one of the pictures of the panels from your iPad. Here you'll see the three panels I took from last week. I am going to choose the Calvin and Hobbes one. So then I go to Art Studio. There I go to File, New, then Import, Insert as Layer, Import from Photos. I'm looking for my picture, right? I found it. It will pop right up, but it's pretty big and I want to adjust it. So I then go to Edit, and then you'll see at the bottom, Transform Layer. Go to Move, Size, and Rotate, and with your two fingers, you can control the size of the panel and move it anywhere you want. So I adjusted the one I picked in the middle. Now the next step is to actually draw a grid over the panel you chose. So I'm lightening it up by adjusting the brightness of the image. You then go to the menu bar where it says View, and you'll see Grid. So click on that, make sure your grid shows, and take a look. See how you see that faint gray grid line over the panel? That's good. Where it says spacing, you will notice that I typed in 300. Always come up with a big number so you can actually see the squares. Then you're all set to add another layer, which many of you have done in previous projects, and then choose any color you want to trace over that grid over the panel you're going to draw in your sketchbook or on a big sheet of paper. To save it in my photo gallery, you go to File, Export, JPEG, Export to Photos, and it should pop right up. Just because I like things nice and neat and that I can sleep tonight, I go to the edit menu under photos, and then I crop it as a square so all that extra stuff around the panel I chose doesn't show up.
Remember, your goal for this week is to transfer a pencil drawing of one of the comic panels that you chose to your sketchbook. Now, I know you've done a lot of projects in your sketchbook, and you still can with this one. I thought I'd think outside the box here, and I'm going to use a canvas panel. I have a few extra at home, so I'm going to use this. Notice the canvas panel is a rectangle, and remember I selected, can't see it. Let's see, there you go. See, you know how I selected the Calvin and Hobbes panel? That's a square. I made sure to draw that square in the grid in pencil on this canvas print. Enjoy this time lapse as I work so that you can get started on your own after this video.
As I draw in pencil over my canvas print, I keep looking at the image on my iPad and transfer what I see in each square to my drawing on the left. Do your best. Remember, making the grid is optional. If you can just do it by sight, then that's awesome. Just be careful and good luck as you transfer your drawing. If you don't finish your pencil drawing, that's okay. Just do enough so that you don't have a lot to do next week. If you have any questions at all, you know to contact your art teacher. They're either watching this with you right now, or if you're watching this on your own, ask them on Seesaw. They'll respond as fast as they can to your question. Just do your best and share your progress to your art teacher on Seesaw.
Well, I hope you enjoyed part 2 of the pop art lesson. Stay tuned next week when we go over part 3. Oh, you won't see him. It's Thanos. What's going to happen? Oh!